Welcome to Cape Town. How lucky we are to be here. I'm Lorne, and I'm so excited about the opportunities in front of us. Saul and I are great friends. We're connected by cannabis. Together, we've been there for the birth of this industry, and we continue to feel like parents, guiding them through their difficult teenage years. Let me tell you my story. I am Canadian, but I am a citizen of the world. My goal is to make the world a better place through cannabis and design excellence. And the cannabis is as important to me as the design excellence. With cannabis, we have a plant that's got stigma, that's had all kinds of different things around it. And by taking design excellence and combining the two, we can make some of that stigma go away. It's pretty simple. If something looks good, we're attracted to it. I've been a brand builder, a city builder, a business builder, a serial entrepreneur. And when I grow up, I want to be a philanthropist because I want to make the world a better place. And as I go down that journey, there's simple things like water. Today, as I walked in, I said, could I get a drink of water? And somebody gave me a bottle of water. And I was sick because I don't drink water out of plastic bottles. Simple decision. 2 years ago, all I drank was water out of plastic bottles. But every time we touch that plastic, we make the world a worse place, not a better place. So I'm all about making the world a better place. Over the past 3 years, I've spent an incredible amount of money and 600 days traveling around the world. And in each case, I had 1 or 2 meaningful meetings every day where I connected, where I was present with people, where I looked people in the eye, and we talked about what was important to them, and what was important to me, and what was important to the world. And a third of those people were kings and queens and presidents and heads of states of countries all around the world. And a third of those people were CEOs and presidents of the biggest corporations around the world. And a third of those people, or a third of that time, was spent speaking to people like you, speaking at conferences, telling people my story, and how hopefully my story will help inspire them on their journey with me to make the world a better place through cannabis and design excellence. I am relentless in this pursuit of my vision, and my enthusiasm is contagious. And for the curious, who I'm assuming is everybody in this room, because why else would you be in this room if you weren't curious? You know, we talk a lot about being curious. And when we were kids, I'm sure all of you, somebody said, isn't he cute? He asks a lot of questions. And it was sort of like, just to sort of put you in your place. But I'm sure today, all of you like me is using that curiosity, those questions. Why? Why does this exist? Why does this happen? Why am I here? Why is there an opportunity in cannabis to make the world a better place? It's that curiosity that I believe will help all of us to be happy and to enjoy this journey. So let's talk a little bit about cannabis, because people always ask me, what's next? What have I seen? What should I do about it? Saul says, jump in. Like many of you, I've been involved in the cannabis business my whole life because I like the plant. But in 1998 was the beginning of my journey into the legalization of cannabis. Because in 1998, there was a class action lawsuit in Canada that led to the legalization of medical cannabis in Canada. 2000, CannaTech was my first venture to grow medical cannabis. It became Synapsis and focused on a unique drug delivery system for Parkinson. It was bought by pharmaceutical giant Sanovion. And then in 2012, I decided to get back into the cannabis pharma game, and we started PharmaCann, the first merchant bank for cannabis industry. Today, it is known as the Kronos Group. 2013 was really a transformative year for me in cannabis because we started Tokyo Smoke. We thought, wow, there's going to be brands. People are going to use this medicine or this recreational product based on a brand, based on something that they felt comfortable with. And a simple idea was to create a lifestyle cannabis brand that didn't actually sell cannabis. I co-founded that with my son, Alan. Can you imagine? I am the son of an immigrant. My father's dream was for me to become a professional. I'm an architect by training. My dream was for my children to do better than I had done. And there was my son leaving the dream job that I had ever wanted. He had a job at Google. He'd worked there for 7 years. And he decided to leave that job because he wanted to change the world. And he saw cannabis as an opportunity to do that. And so we sold coffee, but we sold it like it was cannabis. Canopy Growth bought Tokyo Smoke, Haiku Brands, in 2018 after they had received a $5 billion investment. And distributor Constellation Brands, one of the largest alcohol companies in the world, said there's something here going on. We need to get into the cannabis industry. Because they realized for the first time that cannabis was much more than a plant. It was about an elevated experience. That's a pretty normal thing. We, most of us in this room, get up every morning and have an elevated experience. We have a coffee. That's caffeine. That's an elevated experience. No different than cannabis is an elevated experience. And then we follow it with our second elevated experience of the day, most of us, with sugar. Sugar is the actual killer. But second elevated experience. And we continue a continuum of those elevated experiences till probably later in the day when we're tired. And we introduce another elevated experience into our lives, and that's alcohol. Second killer. First one, sugar. Second one, alcohol. And then some of us introduced another elevated experience into our lives, and that was cannabis. Non-toxic, plant-based medicine. And so the world is waking up to that we are in the elevated experience business. And that's a very interesting business. 2015, we founded another brand, Fire and Flower. 2015, again, transformative year because we made an investment in Jamaica. And at the same time, I was at a CannaTech conference in Israel, sitting next to somebody, and they said to me, we got a medical license in Lesotho. And I said, where is Lesotho? And they told me. And up until that time, Africa, South Africa in particular, was not on my radar screen. I was focused on things that were familiar to me and using those familiarity to me to make the world a better place. So Jamaica, where I'd gone since a child, we had an opportunity to get a medical cannabis license. And we got that, and we built a brand called Kaya. And as I was doing that, I made a trip to Lesotho. Flew through Cape Town, spent an evening here. Ended up in Lesotho and meeting some of the finest people I've ever met in my life. For the most part, this journey has been about the fine people I've met. And that was an opportunity to see how cannabis could be transformative in creating what I had realized and stumbled along was the opportunity to create a global sustainable economy. Jamaica, once the largest producer of bananas in the world, doesn't produce any. Hawaii, the largest producer of pineapples, doesn't produce any. But in each of these places, we were able to start a cannabis company, employ people, grow cannabis, and start building brands in all of these different places. Cannabis 3.0, which I believe is the reason we're all in this room, is about normalization. In our case, it's about the luxury goods part of the market. I strongly believe that when people look at things that are in the luxury goods market, they aspire to have those things. And if we could position cannabis in that market and do that through design, then people would look at us differently. And the proof is being that the people that have done that, Good Leaf, other companies we see around the world who put design combination with their brands and cannabis to make people feel comfortable. So lastly, let's talk about what I'm here to talk about, which is my or our 360-degree view of cannabis. And what does it look like today? Well, a lot has happened over the past 5 years. We built an industry that went from 0 to 15 billion. But this past year, has been incredibly challenging. I'm sure for everybody in this room or anybody who's been involved. So what happened? Classic case, too fast, too soon. You've heard people say, a few bad apples can spoil a whole bunch. That's exactly where we are today. There are still so many unanswered questions about manufacturing, retail, and brands. The same questions exist for recreational and medical and wellness. And from a legal perspective, there continues to be disparity from federal to provincial to municipal to a singular approach to a successful future. That's what we believe and hope to build. So there is so much still to figure out, but the short answer is yes. Yes, this is getting harder. Yes, this is still significant opportunity ahead. Yes, we still need disruptors like you. Yes, we can do this. Thank you. Enjoy. Take care.